the June 16th meeting of the Police Planning Committee, hopefully our last meeting. And we have a draft report that's our sole agenda item tonight, is just to be going over final changes, hopefully on the report. Yeah, so we want to go down the table, start with Dan. Do you have any comments or changes? And again, I know there are formatting inconsistencies that I will go through with a fine-tooth comb, but we're looking kind of bigger picture to start.
No, I thought it was very well put together. Thanks to everybody who contributed their sections, and then for you, Caroline, for organizing it all. But I think it perfectly reflects what we discussed in the committee and the information that we put together.
Cool, thank you.
Maybe not perfectly, but
Yeah. It's a high bar.
yeah, that is a high bar.
All right, Rich, do you have comments? You said chapter 3, we need to change Langhorne
Langhorne
Manor.
Manor adopted EIT since we started this committee, so that's all. We just have to add a line.
All right, there's a couple of references to that. All right, I marked it. Rami, you had a outstanding question to me about the Excel spreadsheet, the financial analysis. So it's referenced in the chapter that you drafted as an appendix. And then in your email, you rightly commented that it's not a standalone thing. So what do we feel outside of the chapter that you already wrote would be necessary in order for it to be, do you just mean we need it to be always connected with the document so it can't be posted separately?
Yeah, basically. I mean, it was it was provided to this committee in the context of a discussion.
Yep.
And I think as long as it's provided in the context of the rest of the report, it's fine.
Okay. Other comments, specifically, I know the chapter 3, last time we met, you felt like it swayed pro EIT, and I was wondering if you had any, no, sorry, not chapter 3, what chapter was it? Is it chapter 2? What's the chapter we talked about? Yes. Swayed Pro EIT. That's the one that was pulled from the presentation we did very early on, that Rich. So did you have any specific comments on language that you didn't like, or how you felt we could make it more unbiased?
No, I focused really on the financial evaluation section,
Okay.
so it's fine.
Okay. So do we have any changes besides formatting this evening? I haven't heard anything from the committee, but I thought we would have some discussion this evening. Councilwoman Howlett, I know that you might not be here for this meeting, but may we ask you, as a member of council, I know this question was kind of posed to council when we voted to stop exploring outsourcing, but it wasn't necessarily answered explicitly on what you are looking for in the final report. What would be helpful to you as a decision maker in the coming 1 year, 5 year, 10 years with regard to the police department?
The committee's recommendations on how to sustainably fund the police department, given that we stopped exploring any sort of outsourced emerging state police option.
Sure. Hello, Councilwoman Chair, how are you?
Martha Howlett, sole audience member, and Yardley Borough Council. I'd be looking for how the committee recommends to sustainably fund the police department.
So how, we haven't answered that question. However, we have a chapter that discusses how other departments have funded their police departments, and we've provided a financial analysis showing where we feel we're going. And then the cost savings ideas have been written up and passed back to the police department for actioning, just based on the chief's leadership and what he wants to take on or not take on. In terms of sustainably funding, what we considered as a committee was we can reduce costs by outsourcing, which we decided not to do, but we provided an analysis of that in the report to the best of our abilities, and then, we can increase revenue. But in terms of keeping our current model and saving money, the report does not respond to that question.
May I comment?
Yes.
So I can only speak on behalf of myself.
Yep.
I'm not speaking on behalf of either the committee or certainly the council. But my perception is that the committee made no recommendation. The process was terminated when it became clear that there was no practical way to proceed except as a standalone department in the short run. So I think it should continue to be an open question about the long run, but having identified things that would have to occur with appropriate lead times in order to give the flexibility to make different choices. The way in which the things played out demonstrated that we did not have adequate lead time for all the different things that would have to be done. So to me, that was the key learning. I'm saying that because you're asking a really reasonable question. What's appropriate right now in the context of immediate constraints may not be appropriate in 5 years.
Okay.
Or longer. And there, you have to take into consideration all the different factors in play, and hopefully the report makes it clearer what all those factors are so that we don't find ourselves in a comparable situation on short suspense in future.
Okay. That makes sense.
And I think.
Well said.
Yes. And I think you're flying blind here. I don't think you've read
I
the
haven't.
report. So I think also there's an opportunity here. Obviously, this committee doesn't want to be working forever, but, when this goes on the council agenda for council to accept it, if there's questions that council has and we have the information that we've already looked at, we just haven't memorialized it in this document, we can do that.
Okay.
Thank you for voicing that.
Yeah, thanks for all your hard work, everyone.
I'll be a little more blunt.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at the cost that the police are going to cost us over, say, the next 3 years, you're not going to be able to afford the police with property tax. I mean, I don't think police is a property tax excuse for raising above the limit. So from a practical standpoint, the cost of the police is going to overtake the amount of revenue that we currently have, right?
Yeah.
So if you reject the state police and you reject saving potentially money by outsourcing, in my opinion, the practical reality is you've locked yourself into not being able to afford the police as a standalone unit with your current tax structure. I mean, I think that's obvious to everyone, isn't it?
I think Section 3 makes that painfully clear.
Okay. I have not read the report.
So if we had continued on till the end, right, then we'd have some cost options, right? We'd have the state police at zero cost. We'd have Lower Makefield at 20% savings, whatever it is. And then any other ones that we talked to, Middletown, who knows what those would have been. But, the math is the math, right?
Yeah. But my understanding is any of those other options would come with cost of terminating current contracts that would make them, at least in the short term, 5 years, also financially.
Correct, and that's also in the report.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning, I don't think that was necessarily true,
Yeah, I didn't know it either.
but it is true now. So I'm not criticizing the decision to stop. I'm just saying that if you're looking for a financial recommendation, there are really no options that we could present to you to say, hey, you could keep your current tax structure if you did this.
Yeah.
Right? Because those options have been eliminated.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm saying this because I understand the role you play on council and how crucial your understanding of the finances is. I think it's outside the remit of this committee to think about the broader set of expenses that the borough is facing going forward. But it did come into discussion that there are a variety of expenses that we are potentially facing, you know, fire and other things that are competing priorities. And as important as the police department is, and it obviously is very important, there's a limit to how much resources are available. And my key learning was that if we want to be able to consider different options for how the police function is managed, we have to have a longer lead time.
Okay. Do you recommend a specific lead time? Like, are you talking about like?
Well, the biggest, I think it's very clear that this has to be coordinated in a way that it lines up with the collective bargaining agreement cycle.
Okay.
Otherwise, the ramifications are difficult to manage.
Okay.
Both financial and non-financial. You know, pretend like it's all just money.
Right. Agreed. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilperson Sherry, did you have any feedback on the draft? Awesome. All right. So I will take on the formatting. David emailed, he apologizes for not being here, but he had some grammatical changes and then the change to, on Langhorne Manor. Anything else?
The only thing, I apologize, I don't know if you've already done this because you are more knowledgeable about it than I am, but there were some old materials that you shared from, I don't know how many years ago, but not a few, that I thought were actually pretty helpful. And maybe you want to incorporate those at least by reference. Or
I
maybe
like that idea. Like, here's a binder of all the things we dug up so that then anyone in the future has it all in one place.
Well, I mean, some of them included things like state level evaluations of police functions at the community level and different state programs that are intended to assist municipalities with the evaluation of this kind of question. And there were, the whole, like I said, you probably are more aware of all of it than I am, but they were directly relevant.
So appendices of background documents that the committee researched and considered.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to make this report a one-stop shop for the next round, I think those should be included.
The previous borough.
You could probably include the old Rich Wayne,
So
yeah, the other report. Like I said, the other report that was done 10 years ago, you could probably include.
All right, I got it. I will send out the final by the end of this week. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for everything you've
Of
done.
course, yeah. And we always have room for great minds in the borough on our boards and commissions, so please reapply if you've enjoyed this experience. All right, folks, thank you. That's all for tonight.
Thank you.